Hello, my name is Emma Pilcher, and I have chosen to analyse the article on the legitimacy accounting theory. This article examines the two companies Nike and Heinz Moritz, and how the legitimacy accounting theory has prompted these two companies to operate within the bounds and the norms of their societies. In the article, the two multinational companies that have sourced much of their products from lower cost undeveloped countries are Nike and Heinz Moritz. Nike was founded in 1964 and is the world's leading manufacturer and seller of authentic athletic footwear, apparel, equipment, and accessories for a variety of sports and fitness activities. The company makes over $16 billion net revenue annually and employs thousands of staff worldwide. Heinz Moritz was founded in 1947 and is a clothing retailer that makes over $11 billion net revenue annually, and they too employ thousands of staff worldwide. Both these companies have been able to cut the cost of manufacturing their products, which has enabled them to become the multi-billion-dollar businesses that they are today. Any accountant will tell you that the overall goal of a firm is to make the biggest profit that the business is capable of making. Accountants look at the numbers and work out ways that the business can cut costs to maximize their profits. These two products on the slideshow underline how easy it is for a business to cut costs in order to make more money. Looking at the products, they both have the same cost for raw materials and charge the same retail price, but there is one major difference. Product 2 has cut the cost of labor in order to make a bigger profit. This is what the business and accountants strive to achieve, producing a product at a lower price so that the business can make more money. This picture is a prime example of what the article is all about. About the service of both Nike and Heinz Moritz, the stakeholders see the company's overall appearance, the end products, and the profit that the companies make. This article suggests that the legitimacy theory comes into play when stakeholders start to dig deeper under the surface of these two companies. Digging deeper allows stakeholders to go behind the scenes of both Nike and Heinz Moritz to see what has made both companies get to where they are today. This comes down to the fact that they have been both using undeveloped countries for decades to manufacture their products, as these countries offer relatively low costs. These low costs have come down to the fact that both Nike and Heinz Moritz products have been obtained from undeveloped countries with poor workplace practices, the absence of frameworks to protect the rights and safety of local workers, and child and forced labor. These below the surface areas are the roots of the business, and when these roots are damaged, it can affect the overall look of the business. Looking back at the Nike example on the previous slide, we are able to start to dig deeper into Product 2. Digging deeper, stakeholders would have discovered that Product 2 manufactures its products from an undeveloped country that uses child labor and is made in a factory that has poor working conditions and sets low ethical standards. How would you, as a stakeholder, feel about buying a product that is made in a country where there are poor working conditions and where people are being paid little to nothing? Would these behind-the-scenes facts make you second guess whether to buy the Nike shoes? Or would you rather buy a product from a brand that doesn't exploit child labor, a brand that has higher morals and values? My answer would be yes. To put this article into context, I want you to understand that the business functions very similar to a person. On the outside, or surface, people put on a front, and what they are feeling on the outside is not always how they feel on the inside. People need to dig deeper in order to find out how that person actually feels. Like a business, some people can be easily broken down, and others may take longer or can never be broken down. Like this example, the legitimacy theory enables society to see the inside of the business. In time, Western buyers' concerns about labour conditions in supply factories has been raised. Both Nike and Heinz Moritz decided it was necessary to respond to what the society wanted, or else risk losing the support of their societies. The two companies are now sourcing manufactured products from factories that are in developed countries. These multinational companies have realised that not only do they need to act to create changes in the suppliers' practices, but they also need to make public disclosures to show the global community that they are responding to the community's concerns. This is because, in the article, authors Islam and Deegan both discovered a direct relationship between the global news media and the company's disclosures. The article found that the more the company voluntarily discloses its social issues, the less negative publicity the company will receive from the global news media. Between the years of 1988 and 2006, both companies released 19 annual reports that made public disclosures on both social and environmental issues. What prompted these public disclosures is the fact that over 70% of both Nike and Hainsbury's media attention has been negative, and so both companies made positive disclosures in an apparent effort to counteract the impacts of these negative media coverages. These disclosures in their annual reports focus on poor working conditions and the use of child labour in developing countries. The legitimacy theory is all about making sure that both Nike and Hainsbury's undertake actions with the intentions of generating a perception within the community that the company's value system is compatible with the value system of a larger social system of which the companies are a part of. The legitimacy theory has prompted both Nike and Hainsbury's to make more public disclosures in an attempt to portray that they are keeping within the bounds and the norms of their society. The legitimacy theory is something that was conferred upon the business by society. This accounting theory brought child and forced labour, poor workplace conditions, and low ethical workplace standards to global attention in the early 1990s. The legitimacy theory relies on the notion that there is a social contract between the business and the society that the business operates in. A social contract is not binding, but the business's survival will be threatened if the society perceives that the business has breached its social contract. Like breaking the law, if you break a social contract, you will suffer a consequence. For many years, the behind the scenes of a business was unavailable to the public. This information was called the corporate shadow. When part of the business's shadow is revealed, a legitimacy gap may be created. Failing to operate within the bounds and the norms of society is an example that will lead to the legitimacy gap. One factor that has been suggested to be particularly influential in creating legitimacy gaps for a business is the news media. The news media is particularly effective at informing the community of aspects of the business's performance that were previously unknown. The revelation of previously unknown information can in turn create legitimacy problems for a business. It was the media that informed stakeholders of child and forced labour, poor workplace conditions, and workers that have no rights in the early 1990s. And without the media, many stakeholders wouldn't have been exposed to the behind the scenes of these multi-million and billion-dollar businesses. The legitimacy gap emphasizes the phrase that actions speak louder than words. Businesses might change their operations to conform to the community's expectations, but in order to be effective in retaining legitimacy, it is vital that the business informs its relative publics of such changes. Informing the relative publics could mean disclosing particular information, which reduces or eliminates the legitimacy gap. The legitimacy accounting theory is very different to other accounting theories. The legitimacy accounting theory doesn't rely on economic-based assumptions where all decisions are driven by individual self-interest and wealth maximization. The legitimacy accounting theory is more interested in looking at how the business is part of the larger social system that it operates in. In many accounting theories, companies voluntarily disclose information that can be either financial or non-financial. Companies want to disclose information as it enables them to construct their own corporate picture. In other accounting theories, companies make voluntary disclosures regarding a company's financial characteristics. This is where the company discloses information on stock prices and trading volumes, just to name a few. Most of the time, these disclosures are made private, where the information is knowingly limited to the specified identified parties. The legitimacy accounting theory is all about the company disclosing information relating to the company's social, environmental, and ethical policies and performances. These are the non-financial factors. These disclosures are public disclosures where a company discloses information directly to the public domain. These public disclosures are disclosed in places such as annual reports, sustainability reports, and websites to disclose that the society's expectations are being met. The legitimacy accounting theory deals with a society's perception and is a theory that makes non-financial disclosures regarding a company's social position. This accounting theory is a generally accepted accounting practice that legitimizes a company's activities, methods, outputs, and goals. Both Nike and Hainsbury's have changed their activities, methods, outputs, and goals when the legitimacy theory brought child and forced labour, poor workplace conditions, and low ethical workplace standards to global attention in the early 1990s. Since then, the two companies have produced voluntary non-financial disclosures to show the society that they do want to operate within the bounds and the norms of their society. I started the legitimacy theory talking about a tree, and how when stakeholders start to dig deeper under the surface of the business, they start to bring up the child and forced labor, low workplace standards, and unethical practices. I'll end this discussion with an iceberg. Like the tree, the majority of the iceberg is underwater. These are the parts of the business that the business wants to hide. Legitimacy theory is an important accounting theory as it exposes these unethical practices in a business and encourages the business to change for the better. This theory encourages businesses to make the public disclosures, which enables them to legitimize a business's activities, methods, outputs, and goals, and enables a business to operate within the bounds and the norms of their society. Thank you for listening to my narrated PowerPoint slideshow on the legitimacy theory. My name is Emma Pilcher, and until next time, goodbye.